And I thank my friend, Representative Holmgren, for taking this time to do something that is so worthy. You know, we live in a city where we have vast monuments erected for people who have left an impact on this nation or on the world. When you walk the halls of this grand and beautiful capital, there are statues of those who have made significant marks and changes to this nation. But as I stand here today, I think the gentleman who's going to lay in honor in the rotunda tomorrow left such an impact on the world. He's probably the greatest impact on this nation and this world of modern times. And the monument to him is in the hearts of literally billions of people who he touched with one simple message: God loves you. That was as simple as Billy Graham would speak to the hearts of millions of Americans, that God loves you and he cares about you individually as a person. That resonated so strong that it's estimated that, and this was in 2008, that through his ministries and his radio and television and his crusades, he reached over 2.2 billion people with a simple message that God loves you. And it's a message of truth. He has had such an impact, as has been spoken of earlier, the number of world leaders that he impacted with that simple message. And the words that he shared, and he left us many quotes, and many of us are inspired by those quotes, but the words that he used that were most impactful were the words of Jesus. He just repeated the words that Christ had given us. He was also a man of great courage. A lot of people don't realize the close relationship he had with Martin Luther King Jr. And in the 1950s, when Billy Graham came to the South and he was going to preach at one of the crusades, he noticed that there was a rope running through the middle of the congregation, a rope that separated whites from blacks. He was so offended, he went and asked that rope be removed. And when the ushers refused to do it, Billy Graham went and moved the rope himself. That sparked a friendship with him and Martin Luther King Jr. When Martin Luther King Jr. penned his famous letter from the Birmingham jail, he condemned a lot of the churches for not being engaged in what we believe, that God created everyone in his image and they should all be equal. But Billy Graham was not one of those. He stood strong. In fact, in 1960, when Martin Luther King Jr. was in prison, Billy Graham paid his bail. Billy Graham has left a mark, but we still fight some of the battles that he warned us of and he fought back then. A couple of the quotes that have meant so much to me that Billy Graham left us with is one: that God's will not take us to where God's grace will not sustain us, knowing he was preparing us for battles that we have to fight. He also stated that the founders who penned our Constitution believed in a freedom of religion, not a freedom from religion. And finally, even though we're in a time of crisis in this nation, things are happening we don't understand. The last quote that I'll leave you with that Billy Graham said is, "I've read the last page of the Bible, and it's going to be all right." Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Barry. Next, honored to recognize Doug LaMalfa from California.